Before every conversation, I take a moment to set the tone. We light this candle to welcome peace into the room and invite spirit to lead the way. Because what we do here isn't scripted, it's sacred. These aren't interviews, they're exchanges of energy, of faith, and of truth. Every word, every smile, every pause, it's all a reflection of something greater moving through us. So, right now, we invite peace, we invite presence, and we invite joy. Welcome to Focal Point. Welcome to Focal Point, the show where we bring you real conversations with real people, centering humanity and truth. I'm your host, Dr. Elijah Nicholas, and today we have an unforgettable lineup. This season, we're exploring joy, how it shows up, how it changes us, and how we hold on to it when life looks different. Today, we're talking about finding joy in an industry that's changing. I am joined by two powerful voices, both storytellers in their own right, who know what it means to navigate this industry with faith, grace, and resilience and light. My first guest is a producer, writer, and casting director who has helped shape some of Hollywood's most familiar faces and stories. He spent years helping others find their place in this industry, and now he's helping creatives rediscover their joy. What's one thing that you've been grateful for?
I'm grateful that my needs are always met. For whatever reason, that residual check will pop in that I desperately need. This job will come in that I desperately need. I've stayed afloat, and I think it's just blind trust in God and the universe. That's what I think if anything that I'm most grateful for, it's that.
Please welcome Chad Darnell. So can you tell me, when did things start shifting for the entertainment industry? In my mind, I seem to remember when the SAG strike happened. What are your thoughts?
That was 2023?
Yes.
So no, I look at it as 10 years earlier when the tax incentives here in Georgia for film started up.
Okay.
We went from like one television show and one film to building studios everywhere to now we are one of the biggest markets in the world for film and TV. Everything was going great. And I moved back to Atlanta from LA in 2013. And between 13 to 2000, I had an office in an apartment in Atlanta and an office in an apartment in Savannah where I did a lot of casting.
Wow.
I was also casting all up and down the Southeast as well, Charlotte, Birmingham, Richmond, Virginia. As the market was growing here, there was lots of work. I was doing well financially. And then COVID hit, and everything shut down, and we were able to, here in Georgia, we were able to get up and running before the rest of the country did. So we did have more productions happening then, but it was still, because the studios were furloughing and firing people and putting people off, there were fewer projects that investors were investing in. So everything started to slow down then. And then at the beginning of 2023, so 2021, 2022, at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023, that was when the threat of the strikes started.
Got it.
And so they stopped greenlighting scripts, they stopped greenlighting productions. So the slowdown started at the beginning of 2023.
Wow.
And then the strikes happened. Then there was no work pretty much for the rest of the year. I happened to be the very first casting director to get the SAG-AFTRA Interim Agreement on the movie Brideheart in Savannah. You never want to be the first.
Okay.
And because then I had to educate people on what that was.
Got it.
People were calling me a scab, and because I was like, no, this is literally the union agreement. And then in 2 months, everybody had the agreement. Well, a lot of people had the agreement. You had to be an independently financed production. There were many parameters you had to do, but I was the first, and I had to be out there educating people. And then we got past the actor strike, we got past the writer strike, and then the whole filmmaking world had to then take a step back and look at, well, what is this going to mean now? Now with all of these new rules and these new parameters in which we have to work, what is that going to affect? And then that took most of 2024, and then the film tends to move with the current administration, and suddenly there was another shift at the end of last year. And as we started working at the beginning of this year, 2025, then we had a president who started threatening film tariffs. And I had 3 films that I was supposed to work on in the summer that all got pushed.
Wow.
So again, work slowed down again. So we've just been in this slowdown period since 2000.
So, so I want to go back to end of 2024 and the incoming administration. So that was another shift that was happening. Was it anticipated?
No.
Okay.
It was not, because I can honestly attest to that, because I had projects that, as a writer, that we were pitching, that were looking the week of the election last year, not to get too political here, but like the week of the election last year was the American film market. And that's where a lot of people go to pre-buy films for the next year. And we had, in the past 4 years before that, we had made such gigantic strides, not perfect strides, but huge strides in showcasing stories of diversity, of telling stories that had never been told before. And we all knew that once this change happened in November, that those stories are going to suffer. I mean, you see DEI being struck down all across the country. So it's going to affect how studios are purchasing scripts.
Wow.
And it has. And not that it's not been my case in casting. I'm not, as the local casting director, oh, it's going to be a white guy now. That's not what I'm saying at all. However, the stories have. I mean, I got a phone call from a friend of mine who was at AFM in Vegas last year, and she said that the morning after, she said, everybody's hungover, and they were all like clutching cups of coffee, and said, well, I guess we're looking for horror movies and sports movies.
Wow.
Go with God.
Wow.
And so and if you look at what has been greenlit recently.
That's very interesting, because that means over the next several years, what we'll see on TV, on screen, and the big screen will be, what'd you say, sports, horror movies, and the likings. And so that has really to put it plainly, put a lot of people out of work.
Yeah.
Right? I follow people a lot of actors on social media, and the number of literally GoFundMe sites that I've seen, whether it's for needing health insurance, rent money, losing a vehicle, and these are prominent people where you say, well, there's no way that you could be out of money or out of work. And I think that like maybe the average person who watches television or watches streaming, they don't understand the number of people who are out of work. Not just actors, but the cast and the crew. Yeah,
and the crew
as well.
The disparity between people think that like every actor is rich.
Right.
No, not at all.
Not
like,
the case.
especially when you start looking at, you got to pay an agent and a manager and headshots, and just the people that can make the basic of SAG-AFTRA insurance a year is a very small percentage. Wow. Very small percentage.
Speaking of SAG-AFTRA insurance, do you anticipate any changes in like the admission requirements and
I don't know,
around like DEI? I mean, that just came to my mind. Like, I wonder, if that is something that is forthcoming.
Speaking of that, fortunately, we have, under the low budget agreements, there is an initiative that, and it's all we're talking like weird money points, but depending on if you have a project that's a low budget film or a SAG mod low, depending on the budget, like under $2 million, you get a specific number that you can increase your budget to if you're hiring diversity. If half of your cast is diversity. And in Hollywood terms, being a female is diversity.
Sure.
So if half your cast is women, half your cast is people of color, then you get to use that as your points in order to like offset some back end
Sure.
cost as well,
Sure.
which is very helpful because it's very helpful. So we're able to not, I wouldn't say force, but like we're able to access that.
Sure.
And
Sure.
it's more encouraged at that point.
Yeah.
And so,
You know, in addition to what I've seen on social media with people needing money and needing a place to stay, a couch to
Yeah.
sleep on, which was already like the kind of the actor's journey, if you will, right? You spend how many years on the couch doing background work, doing all the things until you make it. And we know the percentage of folks who actually make it, right, to where they can, take care of themselves and be self-sufficient. But the other thing that I've seen is this what seems to be increase in depression, anxiety, and all the things that come with a huge shift like this. Have you yourself experienced that?
yes and no. Yes, I have. I mean, the past 7, 8 months of my life, up until like a month ago, amongst the worst of my entire life. 2023 was the worst year of my entire life.
Okay.
This past year, though, not great.
Okay.
And like, I've been in very dark places. However, I am old enough and I have enough of a spiritual life to know that it's always darkest before the dawn, and it's not going to be like this forever. I think that if you were a friend of mine and you saw me back in May, you would be concerned, and hopefully rightfully so.
Sure.
But I mean, we're unemployed. Like the films that I was supposed to work on are being shut down because the threat of a non-existent film tariff. This kind of rhetoric is destroying lives, and we're just trying to come back from the strikes. We're still trying to come back from COVID. And so that was really, I have no money. I'm having to figure out debt. I'm having to figure out how I'm going to make a living when all I know is being a casting director, being an actor, and if I can't do any of that, and I'm having to drive for DoorDash
Yeah.
just to make ends meet and not even making ends meet. But knowing that this is not my life's purpose, I just have to get through this period of time right now. And that's what I've had to focus on every single day, being grateful for that. That's really sort of my only, I don't think anyone would accuse me of ever being joyful, but that's where my joy comes from, was knowing that this is not going to be forever. And also knowing that this is my life's purpose. So I just have to get through this now. I kept hearing a voice in my head, just get through the end of the month. And then I did, and it was like, just get through the end of next month. And but again, now I'm at a place where I'm starting a new film right now that I'm casting. I have a screen test later today as an actor. I have 3 scripts that are currently in development with different producers. I've had 3 conversations yesterday about new writer for hire stuff. I have been saying since August, I feel a shift in the energy coming.
Wow.
And it has. It's shifted.
Yeah.
But I think that for those that are just getting started off in the industry, those who've been in the industry for a couple of years who have not seen 2 strikes. I mean, I've seen multiple strikes in my time. I've been casting for 33 years. So like I've seen it all. I've seen black and white headshots. And so
Wow, really?
yeah. And so I've seen how the industry changes.
Yeah.
And you have to be resilient in order to stay in this game. If you're not, I would highly suggest you go find something else to do, because this will crush your soul if you don't understand how it works.
Yeah. And I heard you mention gratitude, Chad. And what if you could find one thing over the last couple of years and months, even with everything that's going on, what's one thing that you've been grateful for?
I'm grateful that my needs are always met. And I can't explain to you why that happens. God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, for whatever reason, that residual check will pop in that I desperately need. This job will come in that I desperately need. I've stayed afloat, and I think it's just blind trust in God and the universe. That's what I think if anything that I'm most grateful for, it's that.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And speaking of grateful, we have the joy jar here. And so we are going to have you pull a card out. Tell us what's written on the card and what it means
Okay.
to you. Drum roll, joy jar roll. There you
Okay.
go. Pick a card, any card.
This one. Oh, well, it's gratitude.
Of course, it's gratitude because that is your energy and vibration. So we've talked about it, but in this moment, what does gratitude mean for you? And I'll add to it, going to this screen test today, talking about the writing opportunities. Like, what is that? What does gratitude mean for those opportunities for you?
Gratitude is, I think, where everything starts in my life, because without being grateful, I don't think that you are able to access abundance. I don't think that you're able to access love. I think everything starts at gratitude, being grateful and appreciative for what you do have in your life, even when it's at those worst times in your life, when you're driving for DoorDash and getting held up at gunpoint.
Wow.
And I think that's really, I mean, it's just everything starts and ends with gratitude.
Absolutely. And gratitude is so important on our journey to finding joy, to remembering joy, to creating joy. And I am grateful for you joining us here on Focal Point today. And I am sending you a whole lot of positive energy as you navigate this interesting entertainment space that we're in, and wishing you lots of joy and luck on your jobs that you have coming up. Thank you for spending some time here on Focal Point. We'll be right back after the break. What I love about today's conversation is that it reminded us that joy isn't just for when things are easy. Even in seasons of change, in uncertainty, joy can still exist. It's in connection, in creativity, and in the courage to keep showing up. If you've been searching for that kind of joy, real, lasting, soul-level joy, I'd love to help guide you on that journey. My book, Joy, A Journey to Choosing, Creating, and Living in Joy, is now available on Amazon. So wherever you are, take a breath. Let your shoulders drop, let your heart open, and let your joy rise. This is your Focal Point.